No suspension in the Ty Gibbs incident. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're doing good on this Tuesday evening. If you're not subscribed, hopefully today is the day that I will earn that subscription. All right. NASCAR has finally, on Tuesday evening, announced what they are going to do in the Ty Gibbs situation, and it will be a $15,000 fine, and that fine is for the contact made after the race was over on pit road. It is not a fine for the hands that he threw. So, before we get started on this, let's go into precedent. Let's look at the precedent and why possibly this was done. First off, you might remember Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson, he, in 2021, almost a year to the day, a little bit over a year, he threw hands not once but twice that season, and he was suspended for neither one of those. So NASCAR does have precedent on not suspending somebody, or do they? Because if you remember in 2019, when Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin got into their kerfuffle, or whatever you want to call it, the tire changer for the 22 grabbed Hamlin and threw him on the ground. Well, he got a one-race suspension for that. So once again, NASCAR has uneven rules on how they officiate things. That's no surprise. It's also no surprise that, well, you know, the guy from Gibbs Racing's not getting suspended. And, you know, the guys that race for Junior Motorsports, Noah Gragson and Sam Mayer, they're not getting suspended. So once again, that plays into what a lot of fans feel like. If you have a big enough team, NASCAR is not going to penalize you as hard as they would, you know, somebody else. So there are a lot of people that believe that. But as far as precedent goes, they let Noah Gragson get away with it. So them letting Ty Gibbs get away with it, they have some sort of precedent to point to. But like I said, you can also point to other times where they suspended guys for doing this. The tire changer, I remember when Kevin Harvick jumped across and grabbed Greg Biffle and grabbed him by the collar. They suspended Kevin Harvick one Cup Series race for something he did in the Truck Series. So there's precedent either way you want to look at it. So however you want to make your argument, you can make your argument, to be totally honest, because once again, NASCAR is uneven on its officiating. The other thing I took away from this is, well, if you want to fight on pit road, go ahead and fight on pit road, because going forward, this is the precedent that NASCAR has set. Now, me, you, or anybody else in the real world, if we did what Ty Gibbs did, we would be facing charges. If we did what Sam Mayer did, even pushing the guy, that is technically a form of, you know, breaking the law. So either way, you would be looking at some type of charges if you do that in the real world. But NASCAR has now set a precedent that if you do it on pit road in this universe that NASCAR controls, nothing will happen to you. But I think it's a bad precedent to set, because if you do it in real life, you're going to get in trouble. But now they have basically said, well, you know, whatever, I guess it's part of the boys have at it, but it's a very selective boys have at it, because if you're a crew member and you touch a driver, obviously, like I said earlier, you're going to get suspended. So it's sort of a weird situation. If you're a fan in the stands, I actually saw this at Martinsville, if you're a fan in the stands and you get into it with another fan, you're going to be escorted off the grounds. So it's just sort of up and down. And actually, Hickory Motor Speedway, the same time that the NASCAR Cup race was going on, they had somebody, you know, arrested and taken away at a NASCAR local track for essentially, I guess, you know, being verbally abusive or whatever. So NASCAR is all over the place with how they handle situations. So I think this sets a bad precedent going forward. I thought with the Noah Gragson thing, it set a bad precedent going forward. If you throw hands on pit road, nobody is there to see a fight. If they wanted to see a fight, they would watch the UFC. If you throw hands on pit road, that's fine. You want to do that, but you also need to know that you're going to lose a race for throwing those hands. I think that would be a better precedent going forward. Whatever, I understand. Sometimes you got to prove your point, you know, beyond just hitting them on the racetrack or whatever. But I think NASCAR can't tolerate stuff like that, and they need to, you know, suspend guys. Noah Gragson should have been suspended when he did it, and Ty Gibbs should have been suspended when he did it. Sam Mayer should have been suspended for pushing as well. Like, you have to set a strong precedent, because now going forward, guys are just going to absolutely throw bombs and have at it if they really feel like it, and NASCAR cannot sit there and suspend them, or they can, but they're going to have a hard time enforcing it, because they have let all these other guys basically get away with it for so long now. So basically somebody's going to get hurt if they keep doing what they're doing here. So I think this is a poor decision on NASCAR's part. But let me know down in the comments. Am I way off? Am I just being, I don't know, am I being too hard? Let me know down in the comments. If you like the content and have made it this far, hopefully you will subscribe. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. I waited this long to get this out because I wanted to see what suspensions were handed down. And to no one's surprise, nobody is suspended. But, whatever. It is what it is.